Hello, Deborah and Ashley. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good, thank you.
Excellent. Oh my God, this show, what I've seen so far, scares me in more ways than one. And you know what I'm talking about. Deborah, let's just start with you because I have to know what your initial reaction was to this material when it was presented to you.
To be honest with you, I was both drawn to it and intrigued and felt it was just one of the most beautiful, heartbreaking pieces of writing that I'd ever read. On the other end, I was terrified because I knew that it would be important and I knew that it would be powerful for at least someone. And so that was my initial reaction. And then I sat with little Marvin and I just really felt his energy and his excitement and his passion and just telling the story as honestly as possible. And at that point, meeting him, honestly, like I was already sold, but when I met with him, it was a done deal. So yeah, that was my reaction.
Yeah, Ashley, for you to play Henry, here's a guy just trying to make life better for his family. And where does he plop them? In the middle of a completely white neighborhood. How scared were you to take on this role? The challenge of it must have been amazing.
Yeah, I was really scared, to be honest. When I read it, I almost wasn't going to audition for it. Just not the horror element, but just like the weight of the piece. I was really scared of just, this is an important story of American history, Black American history, which is American history. Yep. And it's just, this character was so like multi-layered, had so many nuances. And I just wanted to make sure, just like, can I do the piece justice? Can I do this character justice for real and not just, play it by the motions and read the lines, really come in and embody Henry as a character. And, I sat with myself for a second and then I decided to audition and really give the piece as much as I could and make sure that I put in all the work to make sure that I could deliver this character in the way that the character deserved to be delivered in a world that little Marvin has created.
Yeah, you're both outstanding in it. Deborah, I want to ask you, there's so many scenes where I'm like, come on, Deb, come on, Lucky, tell them off. Like, honestly, I'm rooting for you guys, I have to say. But there's a scene in particular where you have this confrontation with Alison Pill's character. Alison is Canadian. She's from my hometown, Toronto, and she's amazing. I want to know what it's like to go head to head with that girl, especially with the character, the devious, evil, awful character that she plays in this show.
I love Alison too, but I hated Betty. So to be honest with you,
we all hate Betty. Okay,
I think the hardest thing was the restraint that I had to practice, that Lucky had to practice in that moment. Because of the times, like she couldn't do what she would do today and just go there and and handle it. But I think that was probably the hardest thing about playing that scene. But it was easy to hate Betty. It was easy. I mean, the things that she was doing to not only Lucky but her family, for me, it almost felt victorious in a sense. You know what I'm saying? To finally just that moment and other moments throughout the series, it just felt very victorious to finally say and do, what a lot of these situations would warrant. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a great scene. Ashley, I want to ask you how much the two of you as husband and wife in the show leaned on each other, offset to kind of get through this stuff.
So much. I could tell you a personal story, actually. Well, Deborah and I met before we even started the production. We sat down, we met somewhere in Hollywood, and we sat down the first meeting for about 5 hours and just had so many shared experiences just as let me not say people's age in this, yeah. But listen, yeah. So we had so many experiences in our lives that we shared. But there was a scene in particular that's actually it's in the piece, but in an abstract way. But I was listening to Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come, and I was really overcome and overwhelmed by emotion And it was just me really thinking about what our people had gone through at that time as Black people, so aggressively hated. And it just for the color of their skin. And all they were trying to do is search for a better opportunity for themselves and provide a better opportunity for their family. And I started crying. And I'm not really an emotional person in that way, but I just, Sam Cooke playing, seeing what our people had gone through, it just became a lot for me. And Deborah in that moment really, took care of me. She sort of swallowed her own emotions of what she was dealing with at that time, which is something that I know from experience that like a lot of Black women do, is like they sort of will take care of everyone else in a moment. And that's what Deborah was doing for me in that moment. And I was just, eternally grateful on the project for that. And that sort of set a precedent for us to look after each other, because that was really early on in the journey. So throughout the rest of the next 10 episodes that was shot, we took care of each other.
Well, you are both extraordinary in this. Honestly, I commend you for getting through it. And I thank you for it, because it's an important series. It's well done. And you guys are terrific. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.